Welcome back to another reaction, this time for Hell Mode. The hardcore gamer dominates in another world with garbage balancing. Episode 2? Yes. We do get in the opening. Okay. We saw a bunch of potential things he can summon. We saw a bunch of cards in the opening. We also saw a bunch of characters. And not really showcasing our character as a grown adult, which is interesting. Last episode, we isekai'd into this world, grew up to 3 years old, got introduced to the system, to a little bit of the world, to a family that is close to our family. And overall, it was a very more slower paced, deliberate, I would say, paced episode. Because a lot of these shows, they just like to rush ahead, not really get you introduced, invested. And it seems like this show could maybe continue that pacing, which I feel like is a good choice. But we will have to see how they, realize that. Maybe it could be too slow, we will see. Okay, we are 5, the appraiser ceremony. Now the assumption, the question is, are we going to be a summoner? Is that what this ceremony is going to tell us? Additionally, in the opening, I saw Alan fight a lot with his sword, which is funny because he is not a sword fighter. But everyone wants to fight him with a sword?
5歳になったら濃度から王族までみんなが受けなきゃならん儀式だ。そこで才能ありとなりゃ濃度を抜け出す道だ。
I do not like the sound effects of the background because I feel like it's a little bit too loud.
である。ただライバルは多いぞ。どうして？開拓が進んだ頃から子供がポコポコ生まれてな。その子らがぼちぼち5歳。お前もその一人だ。あれ、一緒に行こう。そっか、クレナも同い年だもんね。そういう。
I'm assuming she's strong because she has shown her ability with the sword.
ことだ。
I mean, she seems to be his daughter, and he seems like both of them look like massive dudes.
あれが平民の町か。
Commoner village. Interesting. They were like in a frontier village, and they're all serfs. So there's serf, commoner, and then nobles. Interesting. Question is, how are they getting treated as serfs?
判定で剣士って言われたらクレナ騎士になれるんだよね。
そうだといいな。
First woman into 9, huh? Okay. Now, this is also interesting that nobles have to be appraised as well, but they don't necessarily need to be at this ceremony, right?
あそこでやるの？
そうだ。
あの綺麗な人たちが平民かな。っていうか俺たちと一緒に鑑定。
Yeah, I would be surprised as well. I mean, the left one looks even maybe somewhat more more wealthy.
着てる服の質から違う。
Which is not hard. Right, this also was mentioned in the first episode. Dark hair, dark eyes. Rare?
おお、濃度だよ。悪いか。
It's also interesting. It's like dark hair, dark eyes has to be served, not just having some rags on their body. This one looks a little bit noble-like, the one in the front. But I feel like you can clearly make out who's the serve.
創造神エルメア様は等しくすべてのものに機会をお与えになりま
Sure,
す。
sure, sure.
ノードの中からも王国の英雄は生まれているのです。
ノードから英雄？
聖女クラシス様は平民のお生まれ、そして剣聖ドベルグ様はノードのご出身
Hmm.
様はノードのご出身なのです。
ほう。
ああ、なるほど。確か勇者や剣聖には低い階級からしかなれなかった。
Hero and Sword Lord have to start from a low social class.
ゲームとして見てた設定がそのまま生きているのか。
Interesting, the lower you... So there are some classes that demand you start lower in the lower social hierarchy. And there are probably some classes that can start somewhere else or anywhere. But they may not be as strong. It did show that Hero and Sword Lord or whatever. The Hero at least was like 5-star. There were a bunch of 3-star and a bunch of 1-stars. So you could probably... It is probably rare to be in a high social starting position and have a really good class.
だからの
Now the question is, can you change that class? Can you upgrade? Can you go from a 5-star to a 6-star? Or are you locked in?
モードから王族まで漏れなく鑑定すると面白いぜ。
では中へどうぞ。
よし。
鑑定の2前で
I'm assuming everyone gets tested one after the other, alone, not at the same time. Also, can everyone see their own stats? Can you see someone else's stats?
あれがこの世界の神々。で、あれが
These look like action figures. And he looks like a Sephiroth wannabe.
創造神エルメア。1歳の時に運営からメッセージもらったな。
それでは鑑定の儀を始めます。まずは村長デボジ。
はい。
Okay, so he's better off. Makes sense. His whole demeanor, he's a fat guy, which in medieval ages was mostly a sign of decadence. Someone who has a lot of money to burn on food.
その息子ペロムス。
はい。
この水晶に手をかざすと、そのものの才能と能力がこの金属板に映し出されます。ではペロムスよ、水晶に手を。
はい。
Oh. You mean the big stone thingy? I assume this would be a stone rock, not a metal plate. Because this is the question. Does everyone see his stats and whatever? Or only him? Only the examiner?
ペロムス。頑張れ。
I mean, he can't really do much, can he? So that is the
魔導
steel
書のステータスと同じ
plate.
だ。
Okay. Merchant, perfect. I feel like that is perfect for his position.
商人の才能がありますぞ。
本当だ、やったぞ。ペロムス。商人だぞ、よかったな。
I would like to know what his parents are. I mean, not his ones, but Alan's. What their talent is, and does it mean you go into the direction, or is it just like, hey, if you are a swordsman, it would be better for you to pick up a sword and go fighting, but you can also just be a farmer if you want. You're not going to be that good at it, but you do have still the choice to not follow. And I'm assuming that classes that are in high demand, like Hero, Sword Lord, probably a bunch of other ones, are more or less than being convinced by the country, kingdom, whatever, to be under their care. You may also call it kidnapping. But I is the one, I assume. I mean, this is what I would do. If I were a king, there's a serf, and they see the serf has a talent for hero, I would take him, I would train him, and I would make him serve my kingdom as a hero. Naturally, I would help the whole family. I would try to get into his good graces, so he's willing to do the good stuff for me.
ほう、才能があれば何でも喜ぶ感じか。能力はランクで表示されると。
He
これ以
makes
外には
notes.
魔
Okay.
導書
Right, so no one can see the book. I just wanted to
が
ask.
見えない
that.
しよう。便利だな。
Is it good game design? I don't know. Can people phase through the book? Can they touch the book? So if you don't have a talent, you don't even get your stats shown? Interesting.
うんうん。才能は全員にあるわけじゃなしと。
I mean, not the end of the world. I mean, you look like a martial artist. So, and there is the question is, we know our main character, he chose his class beforehand, but all the ones that live here, is the class already decided? Is it influenced by what you want to train? As example, if you grow up and you do monk training every day and you go here, you get the class or the talent for monk? Something along those lines, or is it just, hey, you can do nothing and it just tells you you're a monk? You can train monk every day and it tells you you're a sword master. Okay, he has some talent. What are the stats? It was HP, mana, attack. So high attack stats. I believe agility next. So
才能あり斧使い
やったー斧使いだってよ
どこだでかしたぞ
So you're a good lumberjack. Have fun.
おお、初めてステータスに A が出た。やはり才能がないとランクも上がらないんだな。
The stats from Alan are always shown in a number, not in a letter. Is this the potential, the growth rate? So whenever he levels up, whenever he does stuff, he gets a lot of attack increase, a lot of endurance increase, not a lot of intelligence. Is that the idea, or are these the stats they already have? So does he already have a high attack stat?
才能なし才能あり才能なしではゲルダの子くれ
I feel like how this is displayed is like everyone is coming around here and is doing this ceremony. I feel like they would all stay. I also feel like this would be more like a festival. Because you have a lot of people gathering here, that means people would probably want to eat something, maybe drink something, so you put up a stall, especially because you have like some people who are going to be happy, they got a good class, so you have some extra stalls for like gifts and stuff. And as soon as you look around, you have a little festival going on. And therefore everyone stays here just to see. It's like, you know, it's like entertainment to see, okay, what classes do we have? Celebrate the good classes. Look at, I mean, you don't really care about the ones that don't have a class there, children. But have a little festival, maybe a gamble on classes. I don't know. But I feel like this would really quickly evolve into a little festival for the city.
なしあり才能ではゲルダの子くれ
I find it interesting that everyone knows, or they know, the children. So there seems to be some kind of information going around. I don't know if you need to not activate, but tell the government or whatever that you have a child, so they know you need to come to this ceremony, or do you need to tell them that you are coming with a child to the ceremony so they know how many people they have to go through? I mean, clearly there are more people here. Sword Lord. Okay. That is nice. He can't read. Which is also a nice little nod to medieval age. But she has S rank attack, endurance, agility A, intelligence C, luck B.
出おった結果はクレナの才能は牽制であるぞ牽制だ
I mean, this would be, can we see the other stats? S in HP, C in mana. This, as example, would be, I feel like this is going to be a festival. If the festival was already ongoing, people would celebrate, because I'm assuming this is like a regional thing. The frontier village is in the same region as this commoner city. And I feel like they would all celebrate too that they are the region in which a sword lord is born, which they probably see as some kind of pride to have someone as important as that being from their region. Because of the future, whenever then the news come around, hey, Kraina did this, did that, they can say, yeah, she's from our region, we are the birthplace of the Sword Lord.
この村に牽制が生まれてたとはな。わはすごいなクレナ。クレナ、お前才能が牽制だぞ。
It also explains why she's so strong.
剣士じゃないの。
Classic children. Classic children. You get something really awesome, but I wanted something else.
ま、そうだよな。じゃなきゃあんなギャグみたいな強さはありえないよ。
最後にロダンの子アレン。
よし、アレン、行ってこい。
Again, I would like to know the parent stats or talents. Maybe they don't have one. We saw there are people that don't have a talent. I do wonder what... If you have a talent, you automatically get more or less pushed up and used for your talent, or is it only if you got a good talent? But now the question is, do we get to see his talent? Because it's like open or closed beta. It's in testing phase, so maybe it's not in the system.
これでついに両親にも俺が召喚師だと知られる。
Yeah, I'm assuming you... Okay, by saying that, I'm assuming you do not get a talent. It's not reacting to you.
あれ消えちゃった。
大丈夫かアレン。
大丈夫。クレナで慣れてる。それより結果は？
シンガーズは俺たちは文字が読めないもので、アレンの結果は？
うん。
才能は？
才能は
なかった。
Rune Momsh. So there clearly is something wrong with the talent part.
俺の才能。
All his stats are E rank, which does make sense because of the summoner. He's more or less reliant on those, on his ability. Now, the only thing is that all the other ones that had no talent didn't even get any screen. I feel like there's something wrong here.
文字化けしてんじゃねえか。くそ運営め。何が創造神エルメア様だ。デバッグが甘いんだよ、サボりやがって。おかげで召喚したって言いそびれたじゃないか、ぶったく。
アレン、帰ろう。母さんが待ってる。
I mean, for a parent, it shouldn't really matter what talent you are. And they are also like, hey, if you got a good talent, for you to be a non-serf, it never really felt like they wanted to stop being serfs through their children. They just hope their children are leading a easier life than they have, which is all you want as a parent, I feel like. Oh, and you see the brother. We also saw that there may or may not be a third child in the opening. Is it going to be important for the story? I don't believe so, but
ただいま。
ただいま。
ほら、もしゅ元気してたか。才能なんかなくたって、お前は俺たちの自慢の息子だ。
そうよあれ。
風呂もない貧しさだけど、この家族のもとに生まれてよかったと思う。全員年下だけどね。
I mean, sure, maybe. So I'm assuming because this is last time we saw him as age 3, now it's age 5, we have some increase, some level up, other stats, other creatures,
今日一つ
other
分かったこ
fusions.
とがある。この世界でヘルモードなのは俺だけってことだ。
I would assume so, because you're the only one that chose that. It's your difficulty, not everyone else's.
鑑定されたのはみんな5歳。レベルは俺と同じ1のはず。A とか B のランクは多分、レベルアップ時の成長性やその期待値のことだろう。
Okay, so it is potential. Okay.
じゃあなんで俺のランクがいいばかりかといえば、ヘルモ
100 times more XP than normal mode, there's no level caps, this is a gacha free system, so only the skills associated with your chosen class are obtainable at the start. At the start. But it didn't really tell you that your stats would be bad. I'm assuming the stats are because of your summoning
成長
skill.
速度は100分の1。それも考慮された結果、評価も実際の
You shall discover the principle of the world. This mode was made for fun by the development staff.
100分の
Fun
1
is
になっちゃったわ
questionable
けだ。
here.
このヌルゲーの時代に俺は自分だけがヘルモードって異世界に転生した。ま、普通地獄だよな。
I mean, you do have the benefit, if you want to say or call it that, of no level cap, which could be good potential, but who knows? Maybe also you were only able to choose the summoner because you choose hell mode. There are some, I believe, especially some more niche games do that, where you can only choose specific classes for the harder difficulty modes, or specific classes are only unlocked if you play the harder ones. Maybe this is one of those?
でも違う。俺にとってこれはヌルゲーとの戦い。人生をかけてやり込みの価値を証明しろってことなんだ。とはいえ、あの文字化けは明らかに不具合だよな。
It also didn't really say summoner. Oh, never mind. It probably is saying it backwards. Because it's SH, the slash is maybe a U, and then you have Shamam, Shamamanur, Nur. So I can see this, maybe it's backwards as well.
創造神様に改善要求。クレームだ。毎晩やっちゃる。ハイゲームはなめんなよ。
I would also not treat it like a game. This is one part that is very strange and I never understand. Because you are isekai in the world, it's not a game anymore. I mean, this has clear game-like features, sure. But I would not see it as a game. Mostly because I'm in the game. And I'm not going to try to find out if I die, I stay dead in real life, so to say. This is always the problem I have with the assumption if your life is like a simulation. There's this idea that people are like, yeah, then I could just end my life. Yes? Do you want to risk it? Just to leave the simulation? Who says that you are going to then wake up and not just die? You know, for me, if this was a simulation, it wouldn't change anything for me. It wouldn't change. I wouldn't treat it any way else. Because in the grand scheme, it doesn't really matter. You can then just treat it as a simulation and try to make the best out of it. I guess. I would definitely not risk my life by trying to free myself from this simulation.
ねえねえ。パパどうしたの？昨日遅くに帰ってからずっと
I guess someone didn't get some?
の調子なのよ。
今日
Oh. Or did was the father of Kina like, ooh, look at my daughter.
ありがとね。わざわざ。
He's always smiley. Her mom.
クレナちゃん、牽制の才能があったのよね。おめでとう。ありがとう。ね、あれ知ってた？牽制って剣士よりすごいんだって。
へえ、剣士よりすごいんだ。知ってるっつの。
そんでね、もっと強くなるんだ。
Yeah, the dads are like, come on. Oh. Oh. Normally, I don't feel like just because she got a good class, he didn't get a good class, that they would be at each other's throat like this. They seem to have a problem. The mothers do not. What could be happening? I'm assuming that, you know, they are a very close family. They have like the children growing up together, and maybe they were like, you know, you have a daughter, I have a son. Maybe they could start a family if they want, but try to make like an arranged marriage happening. But now that she is a swords lord, it doesn't really work that well, I would say, because most likely she's going to move out at some point, and he, without any talent, as far as the father knows, maybe not a good fit, especially as a sword lord. It feels like she's going to marry some noble, So the kingdom has her under control. That is what I assume is happening.
もっとやられるの
I don't really see otherwise why they would not like each other. Also, why they would be in this kind of mood.
そういえばさっき村長が来て祝い酒って置いてったんだこれはあんたたちでねほら
飲みたいなら飲みゃいいだろ飲むなら客のお前からだろうが
クレナが牽制だったからひがんでるのかいやクレナが牽制だったからひがんでるのか
I also find it very interesting they are mostly eating bread. I don't really know, was that the thing? I know I'm always derailing. I do remember there was a lot of soup. And I do believe some bread. Not the bread you would eat nowadays, it's more the hardened one. Which fits well with some soup, sure. So this feels very appropriate.
いやパパはそういうタイプじゃない
Exactly.
ほらよせよそんな面で継がれたってうまかねんないいことないだろ祝いに来たやつの面かよそれが祝いに来たんだよクレナの才能が認められたんだめでたいに決まってるだろ
Yeah, look at him. He wants to celebrate. He's happy.
じゃあなんで家族付き合いをやめようなんて言うんだ俺だって言いたかないさけどなクレナにはとんでもない才能があったんだ士官して騎士になって貴族の仲間入りだって夢じゃ
I mean, she cares a lot about that. You see how much she cares? I also don't understand why you would cut you off the family ties then.
ないそういう才能の持ち主はノートなんかと付き合ってちゃいけないんだよ
ああいわゆる思いのすれ違い
牽制なんだぞなことは関係ねえだろないわけないだろこの野郎
苦しいとか言ってる場合じゃないか
クレナちょっとパパたち止めようか
Why are you pulling out the sword?
いい加減にしいあなたもやめなさいよエルデ
おめえは知ってるよ
So we now see where she got her talent from.
すんだね
女
She definitely has a healthy appetite though. It's like the third piece of bread she's eating.
おばさんパパたちって実はこんな感じなのああお互い子供ができてからは落ち着いたけど入植当時は何かっていうと殴り合ってたもんさそうね、私たち4人はね同じ村で生まれ育った幼馴染なの
I mean, this way, you know, they are at each other's throat seems like a normal thing they do. It's like how they try to solve their disagreements. As long as it works, fair enough.
そうなんだ10年前開拓村を起こすって話が持ち上がってねここへ一緒に移り住んできたんだよその時も4人で話し合ったわね力を合わせて家を建てようってだからこの家とうちの家作りが同じでしょ確かに
2ついっぺんに建てた方が楽だったんだ材料とか手間とか柱を立てたのは俺だ床と壁張ったのは俺だ屋根は俺だぞ酒か結婚式以来だな俺もだいて
痛かったかいごめんよ
へっちゃらよおいヘルダ騎士団がクレナに会いに
Understandable. Again, it makes sense to keep her under their rule. Because she could go to another kingdom, right? And be the sword lord for them. I do like that the roof is full of greenery. That is nice. Probably not very useful. It looks nice though. What is this? This is not the village. I guess they got summoned to the city or whatever. Yeah, city, more or less, where all the commoners are in.
やっぱり噂になってる。
おい黒髪。
あ、確か官邸の儀にいたやつ。もう一発の斧。いや、棍棒使いってか。
なんでここにいるんだ。才能なしのお前には関係ないだろ。
我が強いもん。
いや弱いだろ。オール E だしノードだし。
Why are you touching?
おいやめろクレナ。
Also, you know, you can be all like, oh, Ellen sucks, but she's far stronger than you.
騎士団がいらしたぞ。道を開けろ。
I like the combination. I like the red. I really like the red. It's like, first off, are these different shades of red? They are. It looks like it. The horses all have the same. The old guy's red is a little bit is a little bit lighter than the ones on the horse. So you have a little contrast. But the red on the middle guy seems very light in comparison. I feel like they are different shades. But I do like the red on the old guy. I like the more dark red, not as vibrant. It fits well with like a black, a white. And also interesting that the horses seem to be fitting the theme. Now I don't know what part of this is the original horse. Is it maybe a mask they have that makes it black, so it's a white horse with a black mask and maybe a colored mane? Swordmaster. Zenoff. Naturally, he has to be a badass, so he needs the scars, battle scars, because that shows that he's an insane badass.
村長。はは、ここに。おい、クレナ、ゲルダ。
クレナ嬉しそうだな。騎士ごっこを始めてもう3年。やっと会えた本物だもんな。
It is going to be interesting because naturally they cannot. They should know that Krenna's unable to offer the same social abilities that they would probably require as knights. They would need to train her in that way. But I do wonder if they still are going to take her in. Or is this just, hey, the knights come, they check again if she has Swords Lord as her talent. And if she does, they are like, okay, whenever you get like age 6 or 7, we take you in, maybe in a year, maybe we come back and we take you in, maybe we take you now. Because she does not behave like someone that likes them. They seem more like noble knight type characters.
です。
クレナはこのまま牽制として村を出るのかな。ちょっとしみじみ。
そんな。娘はまだ本物の剣に触ったこともない5歳です。無茶です。
だが牽制であるのだろう。何が無茶か。それとも貴様らこの騎士団を、いや我がご当主様をたばかったのか。
めっそうもない。
Why are you saying he is lying? He's not the one that declared she's a sword lord. That was a priest thingy. So talk to them.
ですが副騎士団長準備せよは騎士団長様
Again, they convince her to join the knights or, kidnap. As I assumed would happen.
なんだ雲行きが怪しいぞ。
官邸の義を欺けば死罪であるこの娘の権勢の才がまともなものかを見極めるためこれより剣術試合を行う
What a stupid idea. You could just do the ceremony again. Maybe you can't, but then it's like a fencing duel. Is it at least a training duel with training swords where you don't kill her? Are you going to hold back or are you going to treat her like a normal fighter?
なんだって。
どうかご勘弁を娘がクレナが死んでしまいます戦わねばこの場で親子ともども切り捨てることになる
おいおい理不尽。
That is stupid. I mean, you are just willing to kill someone. I mean, again, it's not them that would be lying, it would be the church.
すぎるだろう。何考えてんだ。
And having a real sword, here's the thing, okay? What I would like to happen, which is not going to happen, she's going to take the sword, she's going to naturally display her sword lord ability. Because this show is not as dark, at least up to this point. So I don't see her dying. And I hope she just kills the other dude that is fencing against her. Because if they are willing to kill her, then they should be ready to be killed in turn. Simple as that.
クレナ
ねえねえクレナそれ使っていいの
そうだ
パパいいよ試合やる
お前お前
I do like that we have a bunch of guards around the dad because he's the one that is most likely to interfere.
我が名は騎士クレナいざ尋常に勝負
我が名はレイブランド参られよ
Spear user. Which is interesting because he has a sword. Why? And that is why the talent, it seems like we have a name for the talent, but it doesn't really seem you need to follow that. It gives you stat growth in specific ways. And maybe you can use that to, as he is doing, use a sword instead. Even though I don't know if there are maybe abilities you can only get through the talents. Maybe he has a bunch of spear abilities, so he should use a spear. But again, if it would be nice if she just killed him, just for the, hey, it is what it is. But the show is not that dark, sadly.
クレナ
Man, look at her technique. So good.
あんな長い剣を使えるのか
毎日の騎士ごっこでクレナの剣術レベルは5くらいのはず。でもそれもどこ
Also interesting that only because she is playing a knight every day is why she has some kind of ability. I wonder how many sword lords they killed off just because they do this bullshit instead of training them. And I would just really test them again and then train them, or at least give them like a month or two training to see how they improve then. And then you can see Are they even in the vicinity of something like a sword lord?
まで通用するんだ。やっぱ無理
Why are you holding him
なんだ
down?
よ。いくら牽制でもレベルもスキルも上げてる騎士と戦うとか。
スキル
First off, animation is not that good. Second off, the Knight Commander should already be like, okay, this is over. She's clearly talented enough to potentially be somewhat of a sword fighter.
そこまで双方剣を
Now you are stopping the fight. Come on, this is just bullshit. Just because your guy is nearly losing, potentially dying, let him die. You wanted this duel,
双
so
方剣を引け
もう終わりありがとうございましたおじさん強いね
おじさんじゃないんだけどね副騎士団長に勝ったぞ牽制だやっぱり本物だ無事だ無事だクレナは無事だぞまったく心臓に悪いぜ
なんつうたくさだっちゅうの。
これは認めざるを得んな
here's the problem with this whole idea. You are putting her in danger, in so much danger. You are, first off, you threaten everyone here, or the whole family, to be killed. Then you put her in danger. You are not stopping the fight. Now, maybe he would have stopped it before it got too bad. Who knows? But essentially, this would, in my opinion, if I had children and I was seeing this, I would not go to this ceremony. I would go to a neighboring kingdom ceremony. And I would, if I had a sword lord, I would tell my child to go there then, instead of this one. Because they don't treat their subjects that well. So why should I subject my child to whatever they want? Because the next child is potentially going to die. Imagine she's a swordsman and they come and try to test her and just kill her off. And then declare she lied and then execute the whole family. So I would try to find a different country, kingdom, whatever, that was willing to take me in.
そういや怪我とかしてないかゲルだよくぞ牽制を育てられたな比例をお詫びする
What do you mean raise a sword lord? It's not like he erased her. It's her talent.
素晴らしい才能であったついては今後のことについて話をさせてほしいですがその心配なら友人も連れてきてよいぞ
I mean, you still trust them? They could just steal her and execute you? Meh.
おじさんまだ怒ってる。まあ
Natural.
当然だよな。騎士団長と村長の息子はいいとして、小野使いの親子はなんだ？牽制に負けじと才能のアピールかな。それより
Yeah, what are these fruits?
このモルモの実はお土産だな。
みんな食べながら聞いてくれ。改めて私は騎士団長のゼノフ、ご当主様の命により権勢の出現がまことか否かを確かめに来たわけだが、結果は先ほどの通り。そこで村長、開拓村は命名の際村長の名を冠することとなっているが、権勢の際が本物であった場合はそれにあやかり、ここをクレナ村と名付けるようご当主様より言われている。
はい、承知しました。領主様のご判断ですから。
愛すまぬ。
Hmm.
3年前、とある伯爵家に権勢が生まれたのだが、
権勢は確か濃度、平民、男爵までしか生まれないはずだぞ。
その者は王家に仕官したが、どうにも期待された働きができぬ。そこで再鑑定したところ、剣士の才であった。
Hmm. It makes sense that they were going to be more careful then. Sure. You can just re-examine her then. And be there at the same time. You can then see, okay, it's the Sword Lord.
と判明したのだ。その後次々と貴族の中で才能の粉飾が明らかになってな。
Interesting. It would also make sense that they would be more willing to believe nobility. Because they have a higher rank, maybe it's not that common that they lie about something like this. Or maybe they paid off like the church or whoever's doing the appraisal to say they had a higher talent than they really had.
以来王国は鑑定の結果に慎重になっているのだ。
そういうことでしたか。
ゲルだよ。娘子を試すようなことをして申し訳なかったな。いえ。権勢クレナは当面このまま元気よく育ててほしい。そして12歳になれば学園都市で学ぶ。ゆくゆくは王家に仕えることとなろう。
お、学園なんてものもあるのか。
学園に行ったら騎士になれるのか？
おい、どこだ。申し訳ございません、ゼノフ様。
I mean, it seems like he has a pretty solid talent or class. So maybe if he trains enough.
その子は？
はい、我が。
I mean, we have a spear guy be part of the knight. Now, this is under the assumption that you can be a knight as a commoner, and you don't need to be nobility, which in some fantasy stories you need to be nobility to become a knight. We have to see.
息子、ドゴラと申します。実はおの使いの才能があり、騎士になりたいと常々申しておりまして。
このおっさん、ちゃっかりしてるぜ。
I do like that he's stealing the fruit because that is most likely something they don't really have much access to. Something sweet, like the fruit, I'm assuming is sweet. Maybe sweet sour, who knows. To bring back for his brother, his mom. Maybe as a little treat for later.
そうか。いずれこの村には講師を派遣することになる。学園に入れるよう勉学に励むがよい。
わかった。
アレンも一緒に勉強しようね。
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
黒髪はノーナスだろ。勉強
I mean, he got more brains than you.
なんてしたって無駄。
無駄じゃないもん。
どうせバカに決まってる。
バカじゃないもん。
5歳にけなされ、5歳にフォローされる俺、中身40歳。
黒い瞳に黒い髪。
Why is that always the main point?
その子は？
私の子です、騎士団長様。ああ、彼は私の友人でロダンと言います。
ロダン？あのボア狩りのロダンか？これは失礼をした。なぜ名乗ってくれぬ？村の英雄に気づかぬところであったぞ。
Village legend.
英雄？なんで私のことを？
村から冬ごとに送られるグレイトボアの肉をご当主様は大層お喜びでな。
おお。
Interesting. So at least some of the boar meat is being delivered to the Lord, which makes sense. Interesting. I mean, does it make sense theoretically? No, but maybe it does. Maybe it's like a tribute. Like, we killed a boar. So I played Kingdom Come Deliverance. Maybe you looked into that game. There's one interesting fact that they showcased that is that hunting in the forest of like the Lord was like, hey, you are not allowed to hunt. So it was punishable by death to hunt in the Lord's forest, at least in the game, which is interesting because maybe this is the same case. It's hey, you are not really allowed to hunt, or if you hunt something, whatever's in the forest is the Lord's property. So if you hunt something, you need to give him a share of the hunted meat as like a tribute, or more or less as a pay that you killed one of its more or less property. Maybe that is the idea. And seemingly the Lord likes the boar meat, which is nice. Enough to remember the name of the one that hunted the boar
あんな
down.
に苦労して買ったボアなのにほとんどを領主に収めてたってことか。
聞けばロダンという者が危険なボア狩りを率いているというではないか。大変見事である。これは私でなくご当主様の言葉として受け取ってほしい。ありがとうございます。
Very interesting that they always comment on his hair and eye color though.
いいじゃん。
But not enough to keep on
クレナ
mentioning.
は本物の英雄になっちまうかもしれないぞ。
英雄か。
ノードの俺にだって少しは報われることもある。生きていこうな。堂々と胸張って厳しいけどな。
分かってる。
なんたってヘルモードだからね。
お前は大丈夫だ。なんたって俺の子なんだからな。
ああ、そうだ。ママとマッシュにお土産持ってきちゃった。まずかったかな。
ひしひ。
おお。
俺も。
Like father, like son. It also makes sense because they both like loves them, you know, mom/wife. So it makes sense to bring them something back, especially if you look at it, if you try to emphasize, they eat like soup and bread mostly every day. Seemingly there's no fruit around. I don't know if there's fruit in the forest or if they are even allowed to forage. So there's not a lot of luxury going around, but a fruit, that is probably a good piece of luxury to have. I assume they don't even have much in terms of salt or sugar. Don't even talk about pepper. So every little bit counts. So this is, you know, and instead of only eating themselves, they are sharing it, which is very nice. I do wonder if it does not feel like that Krenna's dad was bringing some home, mostly because he sat right next to the knight. So it's very hard to smuggle out some stuff. Meanwhile, our pair was sitting very far away. But yeah, I mean, overall, the show takes a little bit of time. We got introduced to the whole ceremony and the systems and the classes, different classes, growth system. We did not really get to see much of his ability this episode. However, we are taking our time, which I do appreciate, because again, too many shows nowadays rush ahead. to try and get to the interesting stuff early on. But then the whole the world is not as well built then. In this case, we have a little bit more going on now. Riena's character, not that interesting, all things considered. It now makes sense that the Knight Captain was testing her. And I'm assuming that he never wanted to put her in danger, but wanted to have a situation that is bringing out the most of her talents. Which also means that he may know more about her class or talent than other people. I find it so far solid. Now the animation, nah, not good. Maybe get better. Copium. I'm specifically talking about the fight itself.